Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, attorney Kim Hegwood with Hegwood Law Group, and our weekly guest as we navigate the challenges that emerge as life happens. Now here's your host, Kim Hegwood.
Good morning. Today I have a very special guest. It's Jake Trione with TriFitness Gym. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is.
Perfect. And so today we're going to talk about the dreaded thing of exercise, right?
No.
The one thing that says, "Oh, I don't want to get up and go do that," and so no, I actually was walking every day, but the dog's hurt, so now I can't take him walking every day. So, and I got to get him fixed up because he really, really, really liked to go, and so today we're going to talk about a variety of different things, and so tell our listeners a little bit about you. What do you do, Jake?
Yes, ma'am. So I own a gym called TriFitness Gym, and we are focused on individuals over the age of 50. And we teach people how to move better, think better, and really kind of take ownership of their own day-to-day activities when it comes to biomechanics and movement in a healthy and fun and engaging environment. And a lot of it really is about teaching you that the framework of exercise per se is more about just allowing more activity, allowing a little bit more strength, a little bit more ability, and even building up your confidence to teach you that your overall habits in the long run are what's going to determine some of what we consider, especially in senior healthcare, is like your activities of daily living. We try to really improve the way that you squat, the way that you reach, the way that you use your balance, the way that you use your coordination, and things like that. So I've got 14 different certifications in fitness. I have been working in this industry for around 10 years now, and I kind of end up just falling into the 50 plus population because all of my clients were just over the age of 50. So I had to educate myself to learn how to help them. And as time went on, I started to see that there is really a huge gap in the support and really the directed programs that are out there for that population. So I decided to start a gym that specifically helps people over the age of 50, and the most fun, like I said, engaging and fun environment that we can really put together and make sure that people are really getting change and they're not just, like you said, fearful of exercise and think of it as, oh, I got to drudge through this. But it's really an opportunity to celebrate your day-to-day life and try to live life to the fullest.
So so your gym, is very focused, on that over 50 crowd. What about the fitness industry in general? And so how are they different? Is it better, worse? Have they done good things for us? Have they not done good things for us?
Okay, yeah, I think a lot of it to me is the way that the marketing is focused. That's where a lot of the downfall is. It's really directed at people who are already fit, people who are already maybe exercising. And honestly, in 2018, the stats said that only 9% of the United States used a gym membership. And when we're facing 40% of our country being obese, there's a study that just came out recently, and there's 71 million Americans who are reporting they gained weight during the pandemic. And at the beginning of 2020, there was already 40% who were already reporting as obese. And so I think in a lot of ways, the fitness industry has sold a message or sold an idea that is really aesthetics driven or really sports performance driven and not really exercise for health or exercise for maintaining your capabilities or building up your confidence or improving respiratory or making sure that you can walk correctly or learning how to use your feet and your hands more efficiently. And in a lot of ways, I would say that the fitness industry has failed us. And that's really an upsetting thing whenever we have so many ways that exercise can improve our life, whenever we do it consistently and we learn how to move better. But there are a lot of good gyms out there, and there really are a lot of good trainers as well. It's just been for so long, it's been about trying to keep up this physical body image or trying to meet this, 1% of our country looks a certain way and we need to look that way. And that's not true. At my gym, we don't have a mirror inside, period. There's not a mirror other than the restrooms.
There you go, yay.
And yeah, I mean, I think when we see ourselves in a mirror, we start to judge ourselves. We start to bring back all those emotions that we've had in the past of why we can't do something or maybe you had a bad experience with a PE teacher or a sports event or something when you were younger, and you still hold a lot of those emotions internally. So what we try to do is get you to understand that your capabilities and your really application of that on a consistent basis is what the determining factor is to hopefully help you to develop a healthy relationship with fitness. So I think the fitness industry could really do better to transition the marketing to showing people all the really major benefits that are internal and external.
Yeah, well, you're right there, because when you see advertisements of people at the gym, they don't look like me, and so they look like somebody that doesn't normally doesn't exist, So, so I think it makes it harder for people to want to go to the gym if they're expecting to see perfect bodies, toned, things like that. That makes it more difficult for people to want to go do something, and so. I think I heard that you really focus on functional fitness. And so I think the first thing I want you to do is explain to our listeners and what is functional fitness, and then talk to us about why that particular, idea matters.
Yes, ma'am. So say we walk into a gym, and obviously there's a lot of regular gyms are going to have just a bunch of machines. You go to these machines and you sit down and maybe you do a bicep curl. Well, that's a one-dimensional exercise. So that really works your arm. Okay. It doesn't work anything else. You go to a functional exercise, would be a curl to a press, maybe, and then back down. Okay. So that's a multi-dimensional exercise. So, and it mimics more of, like I was speaking to earlier, your activities of daily living. So functional movements should improve your day-to-day biomechanics, the way that you move in your day-to-day life. And it's really trying to teach you to more efficiently move your body instead of just only working on a specific muscle group, which is okay, but that's really, again, goes back to that aesthetics-driven approach. And functional fitness is trying to improve the way that you experience your life through movement. And that's really the best way to describe it. And I go to answer your second part of your question is, why is it more important? In the long run, the exercise equipment is more of a assisted device. And so if you walk into a gym and you sit down, I don't think you have a problem sitting. Most of us are pretty efficient at that, right? So I would hope that you would go somewhere where they would start to enhance some of those attributes, some of those physical abilities that you aren't working on. And so if you go to a functional fitness focused gym, you're not going to be sitting as much. You're not going to be doing things that are one dimensional. We try to work on things that are using multi joints of the body to improve the way that you experience your life and your world through your biomechanics and the way that you move on a day-to-day basis.
So is your equipment different in the sense of what you're doing, or how? So I guess is your equipment different? Are you looking at sitting down and looking at a different type of a piece of equipment versus what's in a traditional gym?
You are our equipment.
Okay.
We basically teach you how to move better with the outside environment. So we use some stuff. We use kettlebells, dumbbells, barbells, things like that. We have suspension trainers, bands, resistance bands, stuff like that. But the main thing is to teach you how to use that through your movement. So we don't put those things in your hand, or what we call load you up, until you've started to move better. Until we can get you into a better squat, until we can get you into a better reach or a better pull or a better push, we don't use those pieces of equipment. We use you, and we teach you through a learning process of how to move better. And then as you improve your movement, then we can add what we call the loading process when it comes to a kettlebell or a dumbbell, resistance bands, things like that.
Okay. And so would you say that there are just things around the house that you could do or use? I think I saw where there was someone like teaching you what exercise you could do just sitting in a chair.
Correct. Yeah. A chair is a great piece of equipment to start with overall. We want you to stand up out of that chair to be doing squats. We would like you to stand behind the chair, maybe use it as a support, as doing some balance work. And you would hopefully, as time advance past using the chair, and have it there for safety purposes, but not necessarily needing it. So we have exercise videos on YouTube that we've created during the pandemic with our 74-year-old client, that's been with me for about 6.5 years. And she came in and helped us do a series of exercises and videos. And we used everything from like book bags, just like gallon jugs of water. I used broomsticks, balloons, all kind of things. Yeah, it's about trying to make exercise more engaging and fun. I mean, we do everything from play soccer to shoot free throws inside our gym. And we also have like a little batting cage I made out of PVC. So we're working coordination, reaction, vestibular, all the things that we lose as we get older. Those are the things we're trying to work on. And conventional exercise and machine-based exercise doesn't necessarily work on that as much.
Okay. And so by doing all these things, what else does it take to stay healthy and independent over the years?
First and foremost, belief that you can. It's true. Ageism is a real thing, and we are facing it every day. And like you said in the beginning, the overall aspect of how fitness has been marketed is just another example of ageism in a lot of ways. It's like you have to stay young, you have to work out to be young. And we don't say that. We want you to have a full and complete and a fulfilling life that's active. But I don't think young is any better than older. And you got a lot more experience the more years that you spend on this earth. So I would much rather have your experience and the vitality and the energy of somebody who may be younger, and then build upon that. And I think when it comes to staying healthy and maintaining your wellness, it's a belief that you can, and it's a teaching yourself what you can and cannot do. I call it being an educated consumer of your own healthcare, an educated consumer of your own fitness. Just a little background. So my dad is a liver transplant patient, and my mom passed away from cancer, and I spent a lot of time inside the healthcare industry and seeing, how to try to manage, getting through it and making sure that your parents and those that you love have good advocates. And so it really just taught me more to ask for second opinions, ask for more information, go do the research on my own. If I get, a medication recommendation, let's take that medication and let's look up all the side effects, and does it counteract anything I'm already taking, and stuff like that. So I would say educate yourself, believe you can maintain your health, understand what you can do for yourself, and look for professionals to provide support and advice and guidance. I think growth mindset is a big piece of it. And as you get more comfortable with who you are and you get more kind of concrete and, I'm a lawyer and I'm a mom and I'm a grandmother, like you can still continue to learn. You can still continue to bring more value and things into your life. So take a growth mindset approach and seek out some more opportunities to learn more about how you can get active and be a educated consumer of your own healthcare, fitness, and wellness.
Yeah, I like to think that I'm like fine wine. I just improve with age.
True. True.
So that's what I always tell people. I said, no, that's how I look at it. And so I know that, like with me, I had both my knees operated on at different times, like 5 years apart, so it was harder for me to do things, so still today I have a difficulty if I'm on my knees doing something, it's a lot more difficult for me to get up. And so because of those, previous surgeries. And so how do you go about helping people exercise and get better when they've had some difficulties that has created some problems like I've had, in order for me to be able to get to that part where it doesn't bother me anymore, so where climbing stairs is not that much of an issue. And so
yeah, so a lot of it is teaching you biomechanics. If you don't use muscle, it kind of goes to sleep on us. I tell my clients all the time, we got to bring all those muscles to the party, and so we try to bring all those in slowly but surely and teach them how to move better. People, a lot of times, who have had knee replacements, there's a lot of fear. There's a big fear factor that we have to overcome. And we just take it slow, and every day is different. We're constantly assessing at our gym. So every day that somebody comes in, we're looking at where they're at. Tuesday may not be the same as Thursday, and we understand that. So it's just a constant back and forth of turning on the right muscles, teaching you how to use your glutes. That's a big thing that we see consistently, is that's our biggest muscle group in our body, is our glutes, our butt. And when we sit out on it all the time, it goes to sleep. So, and if you're not using it, your knees are going to have to do a little bit more work. But your hip joint is a lot bigger than your knee joint. So we teach you how to use the muscles around the hip, which are inefficient for a lot of us because we sit so much. And that alone takes a lot of pressure off of your biomechanics because we're machines. And if we're inefficient at using that muscle, we don't move as well. So we teach you how to use those muscles again in the most safe and effective forms as possible, and then we build upon that consistently. And we have almost every client that we work with has something, whether it's cancer recovery, knee replacement, hip replacement, traumatic brain injuries, arthritis, anything. And it's all about getting them to believe in themselves, show them what they're capable of, and then change and adapt on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, luckily mine wasn't that bad, so just, minor, type surgery, but still it had, it always seemed to have some lasting effects, so, or even things like getting out of the bathtub, so as you get older, seem to be, a little more difficulty, than it used to be when you're younger, but that, but you miss having that good bubble bath soak, but then you figure out, okay, well, it's great to get in. Now I got to get out, so it makes it, a little more complicated, I think as we age too. So, so I'm assuming that, that you're addressing all those kinds of things in what you do. And so, so the clients that you're seeing in far as this, how do they get to, I mean, how long do you think it takes you to get them to the point where they're like, I could do this. Yes, I can do this. And yes, and it becomes a habit, because one of the things that I have been studying is it takes like 90 days for something to become a habit. You got to do it every day, and then by 90 days, if you do it every day, by 90 days, it becomes a habit. So how do you maintain that fitness routine with something that you could do every day to force it to become a habit?
Again, it somewhat comes back to that growth mindset approach I talked about earlier, and buying into yourselves and buying into the belief of exercise and how it changes. But it's basically science when it comes to the first couple 4 to 6 weeks. So your body physiologically takes about 4 to 6 weeks to turn on those muscles to make sure that you're actually even able to use them. So you got to get past that first 6 weeks, really, most of the time, to even be able to use every muscle you're trying to throughout the exercise process. So once that physiological pattern starts to turn on like we should, when we have all the strength we need in our hands, then we can start to use it more efficiently, and then the results come. You can't, until you can do the work, you can't build those results. Yeah. So we talk a lot about that. We're very educational. We tell our clients extremely, straightforward, this is the process that it takes, and this is the way that it works. And you have to remain dedicated based off of the aspects that you start to see. Oh, wow, I was able to actually come up those steps last week, and I didn't feel that pain in my knee. That's a win, right? And so we stack wins. Whenever you stack those wins, that starts to build that positive momentum and connection. And it does come back to making it fun and engaging too. So it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like I get to go see my friends at the gym today. And we only do small groups. So there's never more than 8 people inside of our gym training at once. But that gives that kind of personal connection where our members become friends within a couple of months. They're, hey, we'll go to lunch after this. And obviously this year's been a little bit different, but it really is a way to keep people distracted long enough. Like you started this with, exercise is a challenge. We understand that. And we know that it takes a lot of dedication to get past that hump. So we make it fun, we make it engaging, and we just keep people involved. And then they start to see that their days, whenever they do exercise, are a lot less painful. They have more energy, they feel more capable, and their brains are clearer. They just have more overall oxygen and blood flow, which that's what we need, oxygen and blood flow. It's literally a cause and effect.
Yeah, most definitely.
And that's what I would say about the 90 days. It's just really getting them educated and keeping them open about the process and how it really takes a little bit. If you haven't done something for 60 years, you're not going to change it in 60 days. So
I can appreciate that. And so, so you talked about, fitness, affecting, your brain health and everything else. So that's always good because, fitness, depending on how well we take care of our bodies, prevents all those long-term diseases down the road, potentially, Alzheimer's and dementia and other things that studies are now starting to show that by doing nothing during our lifetime, makes it highly more probable that we're going to get those types of things. And so do you only have people coming to the gym? Do you do other things? What part of town are you in for those that are listening to the podcast that may want to actually do the whole gym experience?
Yes, ma'am. We're in Clear Lake, Texas, right down by, basically across from Space Center. We're at Bay Area and Space Center Boulevard.
Okay, great. You are right around the corner from me. So you and I may actually get to see each other here. So.
Yep. And, our biggest thing, I'll come back to brain health real quick. The aspect that, like I said, the more oxygen and blood flow you have, the better that everything works. And that's really important for the brain. The more oxygen we get to the brain and the more blood flow, the more that your synapses connect those neurons and we start to fire. And you have literally more reactability inside your brain for an extended period of time after that exercise. We do also online training. We started classes whenever the pandemic hit. We started doing a few exercise Zoom sessions, and we've maintained 2 of those a week so far. And I also do personal coaching throughout the country. I have clients in Minnesota, Rhode Island, and because of the functional aging piece, a lot of people are looking for that. And it takes somebody who's experienced it to do it. And I'm in the trenches every day. I'll be going to the gym as soon as I'm done here and coaching. Our oldest current client's 92, and she comes 3 days a week. Yes, ma'am. And whenever you see those changes in people's lives and you see people improve with 60 minutes a day with, not that much effort and really just being consistent, it's really motivating. And that's why we're so driven at TriFitness. And that's why we work so hard to connect with people in an open and fun and engaging way that helps them to be more proactive in their day-to-day health and their life overall. And you're right. Exercise can change arthritis. Exercise can change diabetes, Alzheimer's. I've trained inside Alzheimer's facilities. I used to work with Pat Mack at Lightheart Memory Care and train her people. That's how I met Catherine initially. And overall, it really is going to be something that we have a saying, do better that day, get better that day. And so when you come in and you apply yourself every day, you will get better that day, guaranteed. Your day will be enhanced with exercise, whether it's endorphins, whether it's more blood flow, whether it's a kind and warming, heartwarming conversation with our coaches. We will improve your day if you walk through our doors, and that's a guarantee.
Awesome. So how does somebody find you?
So you can go to TriFitnessGym.com, and it's exactly info at TriFitness Gym here under there. And you can reach out to me. I have my own personal Facebook page. It's Jake Trione Fitness Professional. I do a lot of posts on there, very motivational, a lot about growth mindset. Give us a call, 281-786-1189. And if you're looking for a really specific fitness after 50, we're really the place for you. We don't tell anybody under 50 no, but we really do focus in on the 50 plus population and try to make it a fun, welcoming, and non-intimidating environment for sure. And just trying to change lives and give back. And this Saturday we're doing an event. Actually, that's, I think, the Saturday before. All right, forgot about that date. But definitely, thanks for having me on, and thanks for allowing me to be a part of your show. And I really think what you're doing is amazing, and hope to be an advocate for our 50-plus population for many years to come.
Yeah, well, it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate it. And like I said, I could use that over 50 fitness, so you may see me sooner than you think.
Stop by.
Most definitely. So, Jake, thanks so much, and I appreciate you coming on to the show. And I'm sure we'll see each other again.
Thank you for having me. Peace.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcast as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.